I'm Pokpokman, and today I'm talking about the highest grossing film of 1915, The Birth of a Nation, by D.W. Griffith. Now, the first thing I gotta do is find a definitive version so that I can review and recapitulate it. So I searched around its Wikipedia page and found that in 2015 it was rescanned into 4K by the British Film Institute and Twilight Zone. Now, unfortunately, Twilight Zone became defunct in 2020 and was absorbed into the Screen Archives Entertainment. So I went online to their website and couldn't find it. So then I went and searched on eBay, and I did find it. So here it is, The Birth of a Nation, with intolerance included. We'll get to that second film in another day, as in, not right now. I'm only going to tackle one. Now that I have the disc, we can now take a look at it. Alright, so as we get into the film, it starts by telling us that we're about to see a film, and stuff about like free speech and being able to show horrid truths. When we get the opening credits, which don't really matter as much to me because everyone involved with the making of this film is dead. It's 109 years old, okay, this month. After the credits, we get another disclaimer about relaying horrid truths, and then we are met with what would nowadays be an opening narration. After that, we are introduced to what would nowadays be opening narration about how the first African to come to the Americas started discourse. We start the story with the abolitionists ending slavery, and the Stillmans going to visit their family in the South, the Camerons. So they're hanging out with the Camerons in the South, going around the plantation and all. And when they eventually leave the South, the North officially abolishes slavery, and then the Civil War begins. So the North and South are in battle, and we skip 2.5 years with all the characters now more grown up. So then a black militia attacks the Cameron home with a white army here going in to save the day, as the film obviously can make us think, because, you know, this is the most racist film in history. So then the Stillman and the Cameron in the North and South armies. So the youngest Stillman and Cameron in the armies, they end up on the same battlefield, and, well, they end up both dying. Many deaths occur in this. This is quite a revolutionary film, really. A lot of behind-the-scenes action to portray a battlefield. Kind of a, you could say it's a bit of a predecessor to Metropolis. And a third family member in the war, Colonel Cameron, gets his life spared by President Abraham Lincoln. Elsie Stillman and Colonel Cameron, they start a bit of romance. April 4, 1865. The two go off to a play. Abraham Lincoln as well, in a special box. But his bodyguard decides that he actually wants to see the play. So a man named John Wilkes Booth sneaks into his booth, Abraham Lincoln's booth, and I can't believe they killed off Lincoln! I can't believe they killed off Lincoln! So now the Civil War is over, and the Reconstruction era begins. Part 2 begins with the Reconstruction, with the blacks outnumbering the whites in all areas of the government. The whites don't like it, so they form the Ku Klux Klan, or the KKK, led by the little Colonel Cameron himself, which forces Elsie away from him by her father's orders. So then the government cracks down on members of the KKK and finds some in the little Colonel's home, you know, the Camerons. Which forces them to go and hide out in a cabin for the rest of Act 2. So then they decide to bring the separate clans of the counties and to fight against the black government, because they're against the blacks, because that's what the KKK was against. And somehow, miraculously, the fight ends up at, of course, the cabin that the Camerons are hiding in. Who could have predicted? And so the big battle at the end ends with the Ku Klux Klan winning, and Elsie and Cameron at the very end are re-engaged and at the beach, looking out at the horizon. This film was 3 hours long and took me a lot longer to watch, because I started in the morning, then I took a break at about I started in the morning at like 10:30, and then I took a break for lunch and then waited until after work to then finish watching the film. Now, while I was watching the first act, I was writing it as I was watching it, writing my synopsis as writing my recapitulation as I was watching. Watch all of that too, and then write a recapitulation. It's kind of amazing the technical achievements they were able to put in this film, like close-ups and fading and an accompanying musical score, the very first for American films. And it was longer than Avengers Endgame, probably because we had to read dialogue. I'm sure if we made it a talkie, it would be shorter than Avengers Endgame. With only a budget of $110,000, it grossed $5,200 million, which is a profit of $40,900,000, or 454 times its budget. It's a very profitable film. Although it did re-spark the Klan and a lot of racism, however, it was also the first film to have the honor of being screened in the White House. So, although that is probably what like re-sparked the racism, but through all the backlash, eventually it got a kind of follow-up, not really a follow-up, more of a response to the kind of backlash that the film received, called Intolerance, which we will be looking at next month. I'm working on the scripts of my videos a lot more now than I used to, so it's a bit more structured. Although my last two videos were in the process of about like 2 months. I've been planning on this video for about 4 months, although it only took me like a week to write the bulk of it, so is that really comparable? The others took me quite a bit longer. Well, actually, no. Last episode took probably the longest of all these scripts so far. I kind of like to think Refill Mike, we're getting back in the mood of kind of doing this. You should go check out his channel. He also helped with, he read over my scripts for the November video. Anyway,